Imagine stepping into a world where you're no longer the top of the food chain, where shadows glide gently past you, and a single glance reveals rows of razor-sharp teeth. Now imagine feeling completely calm. That's exactly what happened when I came face to face with sharks inside one of South Africa's most famous aquariums. This dive took place in the I&J Ocean Exhibit at the Two Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town, a vast open tank accessed via the roof, and a home to some truly incredible marine life. To enter, we didn't just jump in. After carefully making our way down to the tank, we passed through something called a bubble curtain. It's essentially a wall of rising bubbles that acts as a bit of a barrier, keeping the fish inside while allowing divers through. From there, we sank slowly down to the bottom. No splashing, no sudden movements, as this can excite the predators. The idea is to stay as calm and unobtrusive as possible, especially when you're sharing the water with predators. Then, after settling, we swam around the corner. Where waiting for us, there were sharks. At first, I was honestly taken aback by their size. These ragged-toothed sharks, sometimes called sand tiger sharks, can grow up to about 3 meters long. And unlike a lot of sharks, their teeth are always visible, long, thin, and pointing in every direction. They had this kind of permanent, almost exaggerated grin that looks far more intimidating than their actual behaviour. But here's the thing, they weren't aggressive at all. In fact, they were kind of sleepy. I later found out they'd been fed the day before, which meant they were much less interested in anything around them, including me. The staff apologised to me, but honestly, knowing I was surrounded by well-fed sharks, that felt like a pretty good situation to be in. As we spent more time in the water, they gradually got a little bit closer. I started to notice how they moved. Slow, deliberate, almost effortless. Ragged-toothed sharks have this really cool adaptation where they gulp air at the surface and store it in their stomachs, so it acts like a natural buoyancy aid, allowing them to hover in this almost motionless way in the water. It's eerie, but it's also beautiful. To ensure safety when interacting, the guard carried this black and white stick. This to the sharks apparently looks a bit like a sea snake and will keep them at bay if needed. I never felt like they were really getting too close or too curious and felt safe the entire time. I had expected to feel fear, the instinctive adrenaline rush, but instead I felt completely calm. Just this quiet sense of awe being surrounded by animals that are so often misunderstood. That's one of the big reasons that the exhibit is there. It's not just for visitors. It plays a role in changing how people see sharks and even contributes to conservation efforts. One of the sharks in this tank had been released back into the wild just a week before my dive, and there were now 4 sharks. I'm going to pause talking and let you enjoy what the experience was like for me, but one thing before I do that, there's something really cool in this tank. Shark teeth. I got to see these shark teeth up close. And I don't just mean in the mouths of these sharks. These are on the bottom of the tank as they are continually growing new ones as they could potentially break off when they're eating fish. And I got to take this one home, which was pretty cool. But now, just enjoy the next few minutes before I share my final thoughts. After this half an hour, the experience was coming to an end. So we swam our way back around the tank to where we entered. Of course, I had to do a quick cool sign. And of course we couldn't leave without the friendly massive grouper coming to take a look. He was so curious. He was also the only fish in the tank that learnt it was possible to pass through the bubble curtain. And I followed after him, leaving the same way.
That was so good.
Very good.
Yeah.
They're quite shy.
Again, not a problem to me that they were shy. We made our way out along the narrow walkway, which kind of gave me James Bond vibes, watching the predators circling from below. And for some final thoughts. Diving with sharks complete. Would highly recommend, I really enjoyed that. Apparently they were relatively docile because they'd just been fed, but I'm not going to complain. That was a great experience. And thank you, sharkies, for not eating me. I'd definitely recommend this experience to others. Please like and subscribe for more dive diaries.